Good evening. The ability of the Conservative Party to self-obsess knows no bounds. They've been putting us through it for what looks like years. And the latest bombshell to hit came late last night. Sir Simon Clarke, former cabinet minister, writing a piece in the Daily Telegraph. And one of the things he says is the unvarnished truth is that Rishi Sunak is leading the Conservatives into an election where we will be massacred. But if that wasn't bad enough, he added a couple of paragraphs later, if Nigel Farage returns to the fray, as looks increasingly likely, extinction is a very real possibility for our party. Now, if you look at Rishi Sunak's personal ratings, you'll find they are now dire. In fact, it is a pretty extraordinary state of affairs when my personal approval rating with 2019 Conservative voters is literally double that of the Prime Minister, and I haven't even been a member of the party for 30 years, which shows you just how much trouble they're in. So my question to you, the audience at home, is Sir Simon Clarke right? Is he right that staying on with Sunak means inevitable electoral disaster for the Conservatives? I want your thoughts on that, please. Farage@gbnews.com. However, there is a practical problem here. You see, it's all well and good for David Davis to come out and for Priti Patel to come out and say, look, stop being silly, grow up, stop being self-indulgent, get behind the leader. But privately, they must know themselves. They must know themselves that things are going terribly, terribly wrong. And then we've got Lord Frost and this extraordinary operation where a series of polls are being carried out. No one quite knows who's funding them, but poll after poll pointing to electoral disaster. Even one poll out today suggesting that a new leader who pursued generally populist Conservative policies could even win the next election. So there is a bit of a plot afoot to get rid of Sunak. But I wonder whether anybody else will break cover in the way that Simon Clarke has. I'm not sure at this stage, actually, that they will. And can we put up with yet another leadership election? Can we put up with yet another Conservative Prime Minister? Would it make them look a complete and utter laughingstock? Well, I don't quite know the answer to that. What I do know is I believe that Simon Clarke is right. I think Rishi Sunak, he might be very good if he was your family accountant or working in the company, looking after the books. He might be quite reliable. I don't doubt for a minute that he's honest and decent. I don't doubt any of those things. I also think intellectually, he's probably, in IQ terms, the brightest Prime Minister we've had for some considerable period of time. But he doesn't connect with ordinary people in any way at all, whether it's not knowing how to use a credit card to tap at a petrol station, whether it's walking into a pub and pretending to have a drink with the locals. He just doesn't do ordinary folk. He can't mix with them, he can't speak to them, he can't connect with them, and with him, the red wall is completely and utterly gone. And that's without even discussing where he stands on policy and the endless false promises he keeps making to the electorate. I think Simon Clarke is right. I think under him, they are headed for electoral disaster.